Welcome back to the channel, it's me Chris Bradley, and today's video is all about the high ticket lie. Charge what you're worth, price your services high or you'll die. If you're not charging at least £2,000 for your program, you're a failure and you do not know your worth. Listen, if I see another guru telling you what to charge and telling you to charge thousands of pounds when you've absolutely not earned the right, I'll go a bit mental. In today's video, I'm going to cover you what exactly these gurus aren't telling you when it comes to high ticket, all the mindset behind it, and why, for the most part, it's actually doing you a disservice and causing you far too much stress. And I don't know about you, but I got in this game to be stress-free and to love and be fulfilled by my job. And of course, being the only MRR agency in the world and being the pioneer of monthly recurring revenue, you know my stand on it. But one thing I'm going to say at the start of this video is monthly recurring revenue is not a price point. In fact, that whole mentality has allowed us to stand out in the industry. I'm going to go way deeper with what monthly recurring revenue actually is, and I'm going to expose the high ticket game in this video. So grab a pen and paper and let's get to it. So first of all, I've done both. I've done high ticket, I've done monthly recurring revenue, and I still do both. Now, monthly recurring revenue isn't a price point. High ticket is. And I'm going to explain the principles of monthly recurring revenue in a second, but I've done both. I still do both, but there's little nuances between the two that you have to understand. And I think it's probably downplaying it to call it a nuance, but that's what coaches are like. That's what these gurus are preaching. And they just think that if you just claim £2,000 up front for 6 months or whatever it is, that you're going to get that injection. They get a nice message from you saying, hey, I've closed 3 people at 2K, 6K in total collected. They get a nice screenshot, they put it on all their pages and run ads, and they look like the dog's bollocks. But here is some high ticket truth bombs. So first of all, let's talk about what happens when you're chasing high ticket clients. The first thing that happens is this feast and famine cycle that you go through. So one bad month of not getting those 2K sales, and I know you might say to yourself, I'll never let a bad month happen. It'll happen, trust me, especially if you've got stuff going on personally and you have to take your foot off the gas. But if you don't close anybody in a month when you typically rely on 2K, 4K, 6K worth of sales, you're going to be left frantic. You're going to live like a lot of people do, a lot of these online coaches do, where when they sell, everything's going hunky-dory. They're booking flights to Dubai and Bali, they're hiring villas, then they don't make a sale, and there's literally no stable recurring revenue to fall back on. So one bad month can tank your entire business. Not only that, but like that stress of always needing to get 2 to 3 clients to pay your bills, to live that new lifestyle that you've managed to achieve. And quite often I use an example of this is when coaches get to sort of 7 or 8K, they start to live like a 7 or 8K coach, and per month that is, and they start to buy a new car, they get a bigger house, they start to be a bit more lavish, and then they lose a couple of clients, and all of a sudden they are living like a 7 or 8K coach, but with a 4 or 5K paycheck. And it's that difference there is the difference between you paying, so from 4K to sort of 8K is your mortgage, putting money away, committing to your retirement plan, it's your bills, it's all these things. And that's why I see so many coaches coming to us frantic, because they're sitting there, they've sold a couple of high ticket programs, they've exhausted their lists, our launches went well, and now they think they're that coach, and that's like not being able to adapt between that. Is obviously reckless, but it's so uncertain, and I hate any coach to be in that position. So let's talk about like the psychology trap with this then, because like you can get emotionally attached to any price point. Now I know that prices are this taboo subject for some coaches, especially if you're starting out and you don't believe yourself. Trust me, I want you to believe in yourself, but the emotional attachment that you get with a price point and the sale, the problem with it is it becomes so transactional. And I know you're watching this because you're taking time to, further your self-development and your knowledge by watching these videos. And you do not want to become transactional in the process of acquiring clients to change people's lives, because that transactional approach actually goes against you when it's not working. That frantic approach to sales where you feel needy, you're pushy, and it just doesn't feel right. And one day you'll wake up and just go, I don't want this. This is not why I started this business in the first place. Right now you might not be feeling it, but I can guarantee you from my years of experience that it will come. And this whole mentality just really affects your content and your marketing. Like if you're struggling right now to put content out there, the chances are it's because of this price that you've been charging, it's because of the past when you've been running high ticket, that you kind of feel like, who am I when it, like, what will I say here? What will I say in the DMs? Like, what will I say back to this inquiry? Or, you know, your videographer shows up to do some filming, or you're going to film them yourself, and you just don't even know what to say. The chances are that's because of the mentality of running your business in a transactional sense. Let's talk about another reason with this psychologically, is like people charge 2K because they think, and this is the argument that gurus make, is like, it makes you look like you've got a premium service. And it's like, look, you know, I'm all for faking it until you make it, but the reality is that if you're charging 2K for 6 months, then you better back that up. And in some cases, these coaches cannot back it up. Now, like if you can cold-heartedly say that if, you know, you went to court tomorrow with a client and the judge was looking for you to present your case that you've done everything you can and you do have a 2K product, and that the client can present that they did the work and whatever, and you could comfortably say that you would win because, you know, you've got that premium service. I know that's an extreme example, but that's the way I used to hold my standard to my service, was like, have I done everything I can here? And it's not you versus the client, but at the end of the day, if you're charging £2,000 for 6 months, then you better have some stuff to back it up. And I mean a copious amount of results. I mean a service that is like, the client enters in a limo and leaves in a limo. Then, you know, you better make sure that happens, otherwise you will get caught out. And again, that's that psychology trap that you'll end up in of like, can I still charge this, and should I slash my prices, and all that kind of extra stress that comes with it. So let's talk about the maths that these high ticket coaches don't want to talk about. First of all, they will inflate the price up front. They'll teach you how to sell, you know, typically 2K, 3K packages. And then they'll just say, look, in 90 days, we're going to get you an added 6K income to your revenue. When in actual fact, we both know that if you're selling a 2K package for 6 months, then you're going to have to divide that 2K up over 6 months, because that's not your monthly earnings. That's you servicing someone for 6 months. And these business coaches, they typically share results of their clients with zero context. And so they say their starting income, and then they say their current income now, when it's actually just highly inflated, where they have to, like the 2K for 6 months actually has to be divided up if you actually count it in monthly. So not only that, but if you think about high ticket, 3 clients at 2K is 6K. Whereas if you look at the MRR pricing model, 30 clients at £200 monthly recurring is 6K. And obviously you might think, well, I have to manage 30 clients, but let me ask you this, like, what happens when you get to 30 clients? What do you charge them monthly? So if you're charging 2K for a new client to sign up for 6 months, if you get 3 sales, you're going to get 6K. Amazing, that's going to add on to it. But what is it adding on to? Like, are you charging recurring in the back end as well? You know, this is a thing that I saw in a mentorship years ago, which made me I was baffled by it. And they actually said, yep, it's 2K for 6 months. And then someone asked in the group, like, you know, what happens after that? And they were like, yeah, you just charge them about 127, 147 a month. And I was like, well, why is it so cheap? And it was like, they don't really care about it. They kind of become autonomous and they just crack on. And I was doing the maths on like 127 and 147 to get your income up to the golden 10K. And I was like, this just mathematically does not work. Like, that's like 60, 70 people you're dealing with. So this is where the high ticket people do not talk about it. They don't talk about the back end, right? You know, in their own world, they'll try and just resell a client transactional onto another 2K package for 6 months. So it's up to you in terms of those two pricing models. As I say, I'll go on to talk about the MRR principles and why there's no high ticket principles. It's just DM, sell and resell. That is it. Like, they don't have principles, whereas monthly recurring revenue does. So on that then, what is the real solution? Well, first of all, MRR is about increasing lifetime value. It's relationship focused over transactional. There is a long-term focus on retention and client experience. So when you do monthly recurring revenue, the argument of the high ticket people is that they could just cancel at their bank. Like, they could do that with anything. Any customer could cancel at their bank. But the thing with MRR is that you're agreeing in principle with the client that you're going to service them and they're going to pay you every month, like you do your mortgage, like you do your Sky subscription, like everything. That's recurring revenue. And in good faith, they have to do the work and you have to provide the service. Now, what these high ticket coaches do is they sell very, very well on the front end. And it doesn't matter if they deliver on the service because they've already received all the cash. So these high ticket people, oftentimes the client is 4 months in, they have went quiet and the coach does not care because they've already received all the money and they'll just go in this selling cycle again to replace them. Another thing that people don't talk about with monthly recurring revenue principles is like you can literally slash your cost of acquiring a client because you've continuously got all of your clients in your service that you're reselling to every single month. So you don't have to go out there looking. That's why most high ticket coaches have got a bunch of VAs and DMs sending messages. It's why they message your clients. It's why they're always running ads and they're in this never ending loop of how do I get my next sale? Whereas monthly recurring revenue coaches are just sitting there ready to compound and ready to give future to their current clients. And then when they're ready to sell and add revenue, they just turn up sales and marketing strategies, knowing full well that if they never got sales, they'd still have the bulk of their money, 95%, 90% coming from MRR. Whereas a high ticket coach sits there, if they don't get a sale, they are basically going from like a feast to famine while they're sitting in Dubai picking up a 2K wage. Like, it's not a good look for themselves. So here's the thing, right, to not pick a side here. The question is, like, it's not about how you should price your services or how much you should charge. The question is, how do you want to run your business? How do you want to run your business as you sit here today? Now, I'm filming this towards the end of 2024, and a big question for you to ask yourself is, like, starting in January 2025, how do you want to run your business? Do you want to run your business with everything that comes with high ticket? The need to record the sales call, the need for the sales call to be 45 minutes, the need for the lead to be pre-qualified, the need for the lead to be set by an appointment setter. Like, do you want all of that? Because that's what high ticket is. Do you want a closer to take the sale? Now, I'm running a massive business, relative to, running a fitness coaching business. And we have both, but we have 90% of our revenue comes from MRR because we know full well that we have mastered community, retention, referrals, creating excitement for our clients. We have mastered all of that. That's where all of our energy goes. We have one sales meeting a week. Everything else is around client delivery and service improvements, which is why we have an agency built fully on monthly recurring revenue. So for us, we don't want to build a business on high ticket sales and the reliance of it. It is absolutely a tool to use to turn the dial up and generate more income and revenue, especially cash flow in your business. But it's not the be all and end all. Like, you have to understand that if you want to build a business at high ticket, then you have to do all of the steps to make it a high ticket business. And if all of those steps and you look at them and they don't align with you and how you want to run your business, then you have to pull the plug, or at least you have to take a few from there and make your own. And again, it's entirely up to you how you want to run your business. So that's it. That's the video. I mean, I could talk all day long about MRR and the whole principles. We've got 10 pillars of MRR that no one really installs, and I get annoyed when people say that MRR is a price point. I'm looking at high ticket and I'm showing you the light when it comes to MRR. We have a 7-figure business, and like, honestly, we have a sales team. We have a sales meeting every week. We push sales. I love marketing, so the result of positive marketing and the KPI from marketing is calls booked and sales made, absolutely. But the 90% of our work and 90% of our resources and staff wage bill goes to fulfilling our service to ensure that we have the safest, most predictable business model that we can possibly have, so that me and the team can sleep at night and then wake up the next day and drive and push the business, because that's the way we want to do it. So the question is, what do you want to have your business like? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.